Okay, so, hello, Devin.
Hello there.
Welcome. We are here. We're going to go through and do a spoiler review of Umbrella Academy Season 1.
The Umbrella Academy.
Yes, that's the name of the show on Netflix. It was based on a comic book, a Dark Horse comic book that lead singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way,
Way.
wrote. And it stars Ellen Page. It has some other supporting actors in it. There's a talking monkey. It's basically bad X-Men. That's how I looked at it. Bad X. And I don't mean bad as in the show's bad. We'll get to that in a minute. But I mean bad as in they're not good at being superheroes. This is a bad Professor X. He's not good at this. And we haven't watched Doom Patrol yet, but this is a show that came out at the same time as Doom Patrol. And yeah, I think it was intentional counter programming. Right, good. So I have some definite thoughts about this show. What was your perspective on the show? I think you liked it a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thought it was fun. Okay. Now me, I'll give kind of a fair warning. I didn't like it, but it's not total garbage. Like, there are things in this show that I liked, and I think that if this show gets a season 2, there are things that they can do better. Now, the basic premise of the show, there's these 7 kids that were all born on the same day.
So there were actually like either 43 or 49
Oh, yeah.
that were all born on the same day.
Yeah.
And Professor Hargreaves went out and tried to adopt as many as possible.
You got 7.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a funny cut in this show. He tried to
got
adopt
7.
as many as possible. He got 7. So yeah, he gets 7 of them, and that's his version of the X-Men, which he calls the Umbrella Academy. Now, there's flashbacks to when they were kids, but for the most part, they're adults, and one of them's a kid that got time displaced, sort of.
Quite.
And that was kind of one of the better parts about the show, I thought, because I thought they used his powers, his skill set, they used better than the other people's powers. Why don't we go through the powers? There was one who was he's basically Sasquatch.
Well, actually, it was more like endurance and or invulnerable, something like that. The Sasquatch thing came later when he completely failed the mission.
So Beast.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's Beast. Because Beast wasn't hairy and blue at first. He already had his mutation. It's just that was in addition to his mutation. Again, with like a character like Scarlet Witch in the MCU, she already had her powers that were latent, and the Mind Stone just unlocked them. So I like to think that serum further progressed his powers, because wasn't he already like strong to begin with, like strength? That was his kind of deal.
Something like that.
Yeah, they don't do a great job at spelling out to you what their powers are. Which one was number 2?
Number 2 was Diego. He was
Diego.
The one that you, like,
Yes. Slight telekinesis.
he can curve anything he throws.
Yeah.
And he can also hold his breath indefinitely.
I don't remember that on the show, but
It wasn't in the show.
well, this is the show we're talking about. We don't read books here. Well, no. Comic books are fine. I just there was some. I know there were some character changes from the characters in the comics, but I didn't read the comics, so I wasn't offended at all. 3.
3 is... Crap, what was 3?
Was it Rumor Girl or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Allison.
So she has slight mind control abilities. I don't like the execution of her mind control abilities, because she has to say, I heard a rumor that, and then say what she wants the person to do. And I thought that was
Very inefficient.
It's an inefficient form of mind control, and it's just for powers that seem to be science-based. The way I could justify that is kind of like in Harry Potter, where they say the spells sometimes, and sometimes they don't. They don't have to say it. It just kind of, she's so unfocused, she's so undisciplined, that she has to say it in order to make her powers work. So that's how I viewed it. So, because if she had full control over her powers, it seems like she would be able to mind control anybody she wanted with just the thought of it. Four. Four is the squid
Seance.
monster that dies.
No, 4 is the seance. He
Oh,
he
okay. He
can
sees
talk
dead
to the
people.
dead.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's
The
the
kid
kid
from
from
the
the
Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense. Um, yeah. So the kid from the Sixth Sense, who's also a junkie, and this was one of those characters. I told you right away. I didn't like him. I don't like the character, and I thought he was an unredeemable character. And by the end of the show, he's actually, I came around to him. I liked his arc, better than a lot of the characters. Him and Diego, I really thought had strong character arcs because at the beginning of the show they're kind of the bad boys of the group, and at the end they're the ones trying to save their family. Um, so for five is teleporting kid, Nightcrawler powers basically. He's time. So what happened is the kid accidentally jumps forward in time, gets stuck there, ages 50 years, then jumps back into his younger body in whatever the present day is.
Actually,
they don't actually say.
He was stuck in the future until some kind of time cops came and were like, "Hey,
Oh, yes.
we want to offer you a job," and he took the job. And,
yeah, because he didn't want to be in the wasteland.
Correcting history, making sure things go the way they're supposed to go.
He basically works for the Time Bureau in Legends of Tomorrow. Just worse, which I didn't think was possible. They even have those blue suits, like those navy blue suits that they have in Legends of Tomorrow that are just these cheap Amazon suits that cost $17 that they put no effort into. So 6 was Squid Monster guy.
Number 6 can summon monsters from his skin.
Now he dies.
Yes.
But he's still in the show because Klaus can see him.
Yes, Klaus is number 4.
Okay. So we don't get as much of him as we do with some of the other characters because he's not alive, but I like what we get of him. Because he's one of those characters where his powers, very seldomly used, they use them very well. And that was another power that Klaus had. Klaus
telekinesis. So like
it's not exactly telekinesis. He's able to conjure the dead. He's able to conjure a physical manifestation of the dead. So
enough for them to punch
enough
him in
for
the
them
face.
to punch things. Enough for them to use their powers. He's able to. The way I look at it is dimensional energy. He's able to take the dimensional energy.
Projection.
Yeah, the dimensional energy of the afterlife and put it into this dimension. So that's how I look at his powers. And then 7 is Ellen Page, who at the beginning of the show apparently has no powers. Again, the spoiler alert.
She was told that she has no powers.
She's told she has no powers. She takes these antipsychotic medications, which I know right away, those suppress her powers. I realized that right in the first episode because you said something like, Klaus can't see dead people when he does the drugs. And I said, well, if that was the case, he could have just gone and got some antipsychotics. He didn't have to inject heroin into him. But what ends up happening is Ellen Page's character is taking antipsychotic drugs, and that is what is suppressing her powers. And it turns out she's basically this Dark Phoenix level.
The white violin.
Yeah. And I it takes a long time to get from where the show started to where the show ended. It takes a long time to get there. And my problem with the show is how slow it is. I don't like slow TV. There's action sequences seldomly sprinkled out. I thought the soundtrack of the show was really good. The compilation of songs that they put together throughout the series, it was this style of like Guardians type music that would have on like an album. Good on them for doing that because it improved my liking of the show. Every time a good song came on, I would dance and sing along to it, and I thought that was one of the strengths of the show. Biggest weakness of the show, I love Mary J. Blige. She was garbage in this show. I hated her in this show. I hated these time cops. They spent way too much time with them. I think that if they were making the Umbrella Academy movie that's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, those time cops would have gotten 10 minutes of screen time. And since it's a 10 episode TV series, they get like 2 hours of screen time, which is intolerable for me. I found myself yelling at the TV in times because of how boring it was. And then what did you think of the time cops? You didn't really.
Hazel and Cha-Cha.
Did you have a problem with them?
No.
No. Okay. I had a huge problem with them. I thought they were annoying. I think a lot of their beats were meant to be comedic.
Relief.
Yeah. Which doesn't work for me when it's not funny. Like, there was all this, like, office politics with health benefits and travel compensation, budget cuts.
Well, it wasn't really budget cuts. It was just they weren't doing the job well, so they were getting downgraded.
I don't understand how a time organization has a budget problem.
No, it was more punishment.
I don't care what it was. It was stupid. It didn't add anything to the show but time. Kate Walsh plays the head of this time agency.
Well, she has higher up bosses, but
oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She mentioned higher up bosses.
Oh, I hope we never see them.
She would get replaced.
I hope we never see them. Because Kate Walsh, I really like Kate Walsh. She was on Grey's Anatomy for a long time. She was on Private Practice for a long time. She's done a lot of pilots that have not been successful. I thought she was a clown in this show. Just figuratively and literally speaking. If I'm Kate Walsh, I'm punching the makeup artist for this show. Because Kate Walsh is a beautiful woman. They made her look hideous in this. She had this lipstick and eyeliner, and she just looked like a fucking clown, and I felt bad for her, because I know she's beautiful, and she looked terrible. So that was just one thing that I couldn't forgive, that Kate Walsh was playing this obnoxious character that just looked as obnoxious as she sounded. So yeah, I like I said, the show isn't total garbage. I think some of the powers are used really well. I think Diego is one of the strengths of the series. He's kind of the only one that's really doing the traditional vigilante thing. Like, he's going out at night, he's going to crime scenes, he's taking evidence, everything that he can to help. So I'm just going to get up and grab my charger cord because the battery's dying. Another one of the strengths that I think the show has is Ellen Page is really good, even though I don't necessarily like her character. She acts sad really well. That's something she's always done. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to plug the computer in, and I'll just edit this part out. So basically, the premise of the show is that Five comes back in time from where he was, or he comes out of time to warn them that the apocalypse is in 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever.
So it's actually in 8 days, but he doesn't tell them until it's 3 days?
Yeah. And basically, it's one of those things where they need to stop the apocalypse, and then they eventually think that this one guy who's this love interest for Ellen Page's character, but he's actually this psychopath, they think he's going to end the world, but actually he's more just the catalyst that causes the end of the world because he's
the fuge, Ellen Page is the bomb.
Yeah, he ignites Ellen Page's powers by hiding her medication, and then she has emotional outbursts, and we see her powers in action. It's again, I compared it to Dark Phoenix. It's very much Dark Phoenix. She can't control her powers. She's one of their team, but they don't know. Some of them think they need to kill her. Some of them think that no, there's still a chance for them to save her. And this is where the show is really unforgivable for me. It's really long. It's this 10-hour show. I don't like where they end up. I feel like they end up having accomplished nothing. And they're just out of time. Like they run out of time, the apocalypse comes, and then Jumper Boy jumps them back in time. Jumper Boy.
Number 5.
Jumper. See Jumper with Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson in theaters 20 years ago or whatever.
You could have called him Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap would have been good too because he is jumping into a different body technically. Yeah, no, you like the show. Say some things you liked. Seemed like you were liking the show when you were watching it.
Yeah.
Say Klaus. I think he just liked saying Klaus's name. Every time Klaus came on screen, he was like, Klaus. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the more interesting things that they had with Klaus, is that he gets time displaced for, like, an episode. You find out he was gone for, like, 10 months. Yeah, and it was really only just, like, 2 minutes in the time of the show. Because you end one episode.
No, it's about a day, because it's a different person on the bus.
You end one episode, he's time displaced for a second, and then the next episode starts, and he pops up on the bus. So they don't really show you him being time displaced. They just show kind of flashbacks of it.
PTSD.
PTSD, yeah. He was in the Air Force. Yeah, that was cool. Or Air Force,
Sky Soldier.
Whatever, Sky Soldier. I don't know.
And he met a guy.
And
that guy died.
And he died.
What's his name? Pete? Dave?
Because I remember I made that joke, Dave, from Wendy's. Dave, the guy that adopted Wendy. He adopted Wendy, and then he named a restaurant chain after her. His name was Dave.
Oh,
Dave...
something.
Roberts. No, not Dave Roberts. That's a baseball player. I don't know. Dave. I'll throw up a picture of Dave so everybody can see him. Rest in peace, Dave.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, he died like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh.
I don't know if Wendy's still alive, though. Wendy might still be alive.
Oh, yeah, she's in the commercials.
She is?
Yeah.
That's not Wendy. That's just an actress. Could have been Kate Walsh with a Raggedy Ann wig, for all I know. That would be a good Wendy's commercial.
It's this girl with orange hair. Like,
yeah, I'm blanking. I think I've said all I can. The character is Wendy. The actress is not. It is an actress playing the character of Wendy. Wendy is a mascot, but she's also an actual person.
yeah, I know she's a real person.
Yes.
And she was on the commercial.
No. Why are we talking about Wendy's?
Because Dave.
Yeah, because this show wasn't good.
It was fun.
Nah.
I think everything's fun.
Well, what was fun about it? You just like the colors? Because it wasn't that colorful either. We can talk about the talking monkey and the robot mom.
Pogo and Grace.
Yeah. The talking monkey was essentially Hitler.
No,
he wasn't Hitler. He was like a Nazi. He was a Nazi soldier following orders of the horrible fake Professor X that was abusing children.
Reginald Hargreaves.
Yeah. So he was an accessory to child abuse, and he was a talking monkey. He was bad Alfred. He was bad monkey Alfred, and then he gets impaled on spikes because that CGI is expensive, and I don't think they're gonna have a monkey in season 2. Oh no, the CGI for the monkey looked good. He did?
Died in the comics there.
Well, the CGI for the monkey looked good. I will give him that. The show looks good. It doesn't look cheap at any time. And I think there's a lot of good stylistic choices with the credits. Every episode, like it shows an umbrella and says the Umbrella Academy.
Academy.
So there's a lot of things the show does great. I just can't particularly think of any of them right now. But after we just watched both seasons of Westworld a few weeks ago, I thought that was a slow TV show. it was slow, but it was interesting. This was slow, and I found it uninteresting because I know fast-paced shows that have superheroes in it that are able to keep an actionable pace. Um, so final thoughts. You liked it. I didn't, but I'm willing to give it another chance if they have a season two.
Yeah.
Um, Netflix doesn't have much content left, so if I had to guess, I'd say yes, they are getting a season two because they just need the content. Um, but yeah, that's that. That was Umbrella Academy season one reaction review, whatever you'd like to call it. Devin, you got anything to say to the people?
Thank you for finding us.
Thank you for finding us. Bye bye.